it was like, you're so lucky you were so young when you started Strictly Bicycles, and to be able to have that sort of sense, like, this is what you're passionate about and this is what you're going to do, is like something that people search for their entire lives, but you had it. So how is cycling? Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say that I think part of the reason people don't become entrepreneurs or don't try is because of fear. And obviously at a young age, I had a little bit less fear than most people.
Right.
But I could tell you that the fear has, whatever little fear I had, it's grown over the years. And as being in business this long, I still have that fear. And that's what drives me, actually. It drives me to keep learning and to keep doing different things. And everybody should follow that. Always push your fear, keep going. It's always good to try new things.
Yeah. And I agree. I think just even during this conversation, we're talking about how we're both sort of trying to create more content. Like, I'm doing the YouTube channel, you're doing the YouTube channel. How have you, Strictly Bicycles is a huge community. It's not just a shop, and you've managed to cultivate and curate that, not probably intentionally, it just was organic for you over the years, but how are you maintaining that? And especially over the past year with COVID, how do you connect with your community of cycling? It's the entire community of cycling in New York City and New Jersey and this whole sort of area around here.
So it's a good question. So the first thing I thought when COVID hit is, how do we protect people? Because
what do you think are some good things that people should look for if they're recreational riders, new to the sport, looking to get into cycling or triathlon, or just simply out for a fun ride and lunch? What should they look for in a new bike?
Well, first of all, I think they should look for a bicycle that's their size, number one. Right? So sizing is really big. So yeah, a lot of people make that mistake, especially through this time. A lot of people were buying virtually. And the sad part is they were doing it to stay safe, which is cool. But they really should focus on making sure they either get a fitting or they get assessed by a professional. So going to their local bike shop is the right thing to do. It's an essential business. So we were happy with getting people in to get them sized correctly.
Right.
Their first bike, they should try to get the best bike they can possibly get. I don't want to use the word afford, but that's kind of a key thing. You want to make sure you can afford something, right? So maximize what you can buy, your budget, so you can get something that you can keep and grow with. So if you're going to get into triathlon, I don't say get a tri-bike all the time. I say get a road bike. So it could be more versatile, and you could do triathlon on it, but you could also train on it and ride on the road with your friends. But I think the key thing is go to your local bike shop. Try to see if you can do it safely and go in and get an assessed size and look at the bikes.
I see so many people riding that out, even sometimes on 9W, that, you could see that their bike has not been fitted right. And it has such long-term effects on your body too. Do you do virtual fittings at Strictly Bicycles, or you're doing in person?
It's funny you're saying that. We're trying to work with a new type of software that does virtual fitting. Virtual assessment is actually something that's safer, where you kind of basically have virtual sizing. You tell the customer takes their own measurements, and we can size them to the bicycle that way.
Okay. Yeah.
Unfortunately, our fitting systems are very technical, and you really need the eye of that fitter in front of the rider to get perfection or to get close to it.
Right.
But there are tools out there that we can help you so you can get the right size bicycle virtually. Yes.
Right. So not, maybe for somebody who's getting into the sport of cycling, but not for a triathlete or a cyclist that's, doing the century, that's a little bit more important to come in and really look at the fit and tweak the angles and the seat and the pedals and all of that.
Yeah.
For optimum power.
Yeah. For optimal power and for optimal safety. And if you're a person with injuries, you really should be seen by a professional, and pick your professionals wisely. Just make sure that they're running their operation really safe. We're actually in one of my fitting rooms, and this is a fitting room I can't use because the space is too small. You have to make sure that your fitting area, which we brought downstairs, is open to air. You need air circulation.
Right. That's a big thing now. Obviously because of COVID, not before.
Yes, before we could keep the room closed, now we can't. So
Yeah.
our new store has an amazing fitting area at Hudson Yards. It's huge, and it's got its own HVAC system. It's got airflow. We still keep the door open. It's a safe environment.
Yeah.
We can help you there more effectively. Here, we would do it downstairs in our new fitting area, which is not an official fitting area.
Right, right. And so now, like for my, athlete listeners who maybe are on, bike 3, or they're, triathletes and sort of more technically advanced and more advanced riders, what are some of the big trends in equipment that they could be looking at to level up this year if they're looking to invest in their sport and invest in their bike? Like I'm thinking, disc brakes, wheels, like what are some things that you think are worthy investments that could really change their ride?
Yeah, so the number one thing we say is the big improvement you can make if you have an existing bike is your wheels. Wheels are a big deal. They account for, other than fitting, they account for a lot of the percentage of wind drag or aerodynamics. One big thing is they look cool. So
yes,
having
they do look cool.
Yeah, they look cool. So having a cool toy is, we're all about that. We're children. We want, we're doing the sport, but we want to have fun. This is our toy. Investing in wheels is a big deal. We like ceramic bearings, making your bike more efficient by making the bearings, the actual things that turn and create heat, going into ceramic. We use ceramic speed products to make your bike more efficient, because more watts that you save is more energy, so you can go faster. So,
right.
And then upgrading your bicycle would be something which is a larger ticket item. Technology's gone a long way. Disc brakes are really relevant right now, like you said. So making sure you have a bicycle that's advanced with disc brakes means you're going to have more aerodynamics, because they can make the bike more efficient. The cockpit could be more efficient. The frame could be more efficient. That would be your big ticket item to buy a new bike.
That you might as well buy a new bike with that. It's not worth it because you have to change the wheels and everything else, right?
Correct. So it's a big investment, but obviously if your bicycle is aging and you have an excuse to look at new bicycles,